Okay, at first I was kind of apprehensive about the Karate Kid remake. You know, being born in '79, I pretty much grew up with like the Pat Morita, Ralph Macchio series of Karate Kid movies. And with this one, I kind of thought it's just a vehicle for Will Smith's kid to, you know, try to make it big in the movies. And I'll be honest, it's a solid movie. My only complaint is that it is over 2 hours long, and the plot, you know, beyond the additional training montages, is a fairly simplistic plot. Dre, that's Will Smith's kid, and his mother go from Detroit all the way over to China. So they do some of the typical, you know, like he doesn't speak any of the languages, he doesn't know any of the languages. So he goes out and tries to play basketball with some kids. He actually sucks at basketball. Then he tries to play ping pong. And he gets annihilated in ping pong. And he sees a girl, you know, listens to some music, kind of likes her, walks over and talks to her. Well, someone not a big fan of that. That's your initial first, you know, beat down by the bully. You know, he's having problems at school. He just really hates where he's at. He doesn't know the language. He hates the people. He doesn't like the food. So he's kind of whiny and complaining. He goes through a scenario where he sees, you know, all the bullies. And he decides to essentially throw kind of like air conditioning runoff onto them. And then it goes through kind of like a parkour sort of chase sequence. And of course he gets cornered. They begin to beat him up again. Jackie Chan shows up and helps defeat like all 6 of them. Now of course the weird thing is, in the original, you know, Ralph Macchio played like a 16-year-old kid. Beat up 16-year-olds. In this one, they all kind of seem like they're in middle school. So it's really weird when you see Jackie Chan beat up like 6 middle schoolers. And that's when, you know, there's more or less kind of figure out, well, you know, I want to know how to do it as a judo. And the guy's like, you know, and Jackie's like, you know what, no. Like, you learn Kung Fu to not have to fight. We're going to go there, talk to their sensei, get it all straightened out. Go with them, the guy's like, no. You're going to fight. Either you're going to fight here, you're going to fight, he's going to fight, someone's going to fight. Jackie Chan kind of, so they go, we'll fight there, at the tournament. So, in the modern adaptation of the Cobra Kai, it's pretty much, you know, like, no weakness, no pain, no mercy. I suppose, like, you know, like, mercy is for the weak. Okay. Now, if you watch the original and you watch this one, you will notice they do take certain scenes, and it is a verbatim movement. You know, he sees other people, you know, training, and he goes, "Oh man, what's going on?" And then there's that scene, you know, where he walks into one of the dojos, and he sees, you know, the main bully, and everyone kind of bows, and he's just staring a hole straight through, and there's a kind of fidgety sort of runaway sort of moment. So they do copy bits and pieces from the original, which was good. You know, certain scenes from that one you really couldn't do an improvement on. So then you go through some of the more intense training montages. Essentially they took the base story and some of the more pivotal scenes, especially during the final tournament. During the final tournament you essentially get to see 2 things that are pretty much verbatim to the original, but slightly updated. That's kind of like what it is. You're watching a slightly longer version, primarily because when you're in China, the country itself has like its own character, which was great to see them really utilize a lot of China. And to see Jackie Chan actually have some really solid range to him. And it does kind of fall into that kind of like 80s thing where the villain has like 0 redeeming qualities. You know, when you first see him, it more or less screams, yeah, you know what? You are a stock villain. You know, you're training all these kids and how to do kung fu, and you're training them essentially in the way of, you know what you're gonna do? What? You're gonna beat this guy. Then he's on the ground. You're gonna keep on punching him. You're gonna punch him until he gives up or the ref gives you a point. And then comes the final tournament. I wish they would have explained some of the rules, because you had the standard, if you leave the ring you lose a point. But people are hitting like Hurricane Ranas and head scissors takedowns, as well as what look like severe joint locks and what could be almost like chokeholds and like potentially arm breaking maneuvers. In the sense that they're doing to each other, there's no pads. And I'm like, okay, did he secretly enter like a Muay Thai kickboxing tournament? Because these kids are really stomping the daylights out of each other. These people get like knocked down on the ground, then you see almost like running, sliding throat punch. It's like okay, arm takedown, punch to the face, punch to the face, punch to the face, ref pulling you off. I just see a ground and pound. Exactly what sort of what sort of bizarre rules they're running with here. So, all in all, it is essentially an updated version of a classic, with taking some liberty with the story, but making it especially more palpable for people who never actually grew up in the '80s and got to see the original. So if you're a fan of the original, this one works pretty well. If you've never seen the original, this actually probably be one of your first real introductions into this sort of movie style. And I'll be honest, it was solid. Do I want to see Will Smith's kid in like the Goonies? Probably not. But for the Karate Kid, Jackie Chan did a very good job. Will Smith's kid did a pretty good job. Supporting cast worked, and of course, one of the best main characters, China.